That's a good choice. You mentioned before about how music and lyrics showed you what cliche was. My number one film showed me what cliche wasn't, and I became aware of cliche through that. And that is my favorite film and my number one film today. And that's Quentin Tarantino's 1994 Pulp Fiction. This is a movie with just its dialogue alone is worth listening to. I wish I had it just on audio. I wish I could just listen to it without the images, which are great themselves. Everyone knows the story. Everyone knows how important Pulp Fiction is. It's important to me because I sat there and I watched it, and I loved it, and I watched it immediately afterwards because it is so not like anything else. It is so completely and totally original. And I realize that I say that while Quentin Tarantino constantly quotes and constantly makes references to, but it is something within its own universe, and the dialogue. So often in movies, we as an audience become complacent and we accept standard dialogue. This person says that, so that person can say this. People read lines to each other. This is unbelievably original stuff. This is the way people, I assume, in this lifestyle, more or less talk. Mm-hmm. And even if it's not, it's the way I like to think they do. It's completely and totally an unbelievably original piece of work. I have nothing but highest praises for it. Again, something I could go on way too long about. But it taught me what you should do, and just like music and lyrics taught you what not to do. And I think that's an important thing. And I should say, I've seen a lot of great movies, but I've seen a lot of terrible movies too. And I owe a lot to those bad movies because you learn what not to do and what works versus what doesn't work.
I enjoy every bad movie that I see.
On some level, I think
yeah,
we like even the bad movies because we learn from them and take things away from them. Very rarely, as was the case with Saw or Hostel, I find it to be degrading to humanity, and so I don't care for it.
And also one more thing about Pulp Fiction, which I noticed later in life, like after I got over like, oh, it's so cool in high school when I was a little bit less mature, it's that like what's really based around, it is based around sort of goodness.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, when you look at Bruce Willis's character storyline, like it's all about sort of mercy on some level. And
honor among thieves.
Exactly.
Everyone who has the option to get out of this lifestyle or to choose to do the honorable thing, everyone who chooses to do that escapes the movie more or less in one piece. And everyone who chooses not to, and I won't give anything away, but everyone who has the ability to get out when they can, they don't. And they pay the ultimate price for it. And we see that character later, and we end up shaking our heads because we know his fate, because it's non-linear, which is another reason it's a fantastic film, because it's one of the first ones I ever saw where the timeline jumps around. We don't have to know everything that the characters know at one point or another, and we can know more than them in odd ways at certain points. I've seen this film so many times, and I'm still not completely sure at some points what segment's coming up next. Again, but